Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 203 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. What's up, guys?
I don't love this numbering scheme. I still think like we get hosed on that.
You're saying the wait list should count?
I mean, I'm just kind of saying, but
I mean, if you want to start counting them, we can. Like, I can. Start...
I don't think we can go back in time. That's the thing.
Well, no, we can't go.
It is what it is.
No, yeah, that would screw everything up. So,
yeah.
I actually realized a couple weeks ago that I accidentally marked an episode with the wrong number, but nobody noticed. Or at least nobody said anything to me about it.
Wait, but I mean, it didn't screw up anything past it. You just had to remark that one.
No, I just had to fix. Yeah, I just had to fix that one. So, like, yeah, it technically the numbers are just part of the title, right? So it's like it's just the title, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I had accidentally put the wrong number in of one of them. So
I mean, out of 200 and something, I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, it happens.
Considering it's the first time it's happened, yeah.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Trevor.
Well, I was just going to say, first of all, Happy New Year. I mean, we haven't really talked to each other since before Christmas, so
I've been really disconnected over the past couple of weeks, man. Like,
yeah, you and me both. And I had so many grandiose ideas, and I was just kind of didn't do a lot besides Christmas.
We talked at the beginning of Christmas. We talked about doing a lot of things, and none of it happened because my entire family, we all got new games that turned out to be really good, and we ended up spending way too much time gaming over Christmas, which is not a bad thing. I think we were all happy with it, but it was just funny because we were all like, yeah, we're gonna go here, we're gonna sit down and watch these shows, and none of it happened. So
we did a lot of watching of shows, especially before Christmas, but it was hard to find certain things. Like, I didn't get to see Rudolph this year because CBS did this thing where they were just showing it and you couldn't record it and couldn't DVR it, and it just was a disaster.
It's on YouTube. It's not good quality.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
It's not.
Captain Jack Sparrow can help you find it.
So we did a fair amount of television, but we did a lot of board games. Card games and stuff. We got some really good ones for Christmas, so we got to do that. And what else kept us busy? We got a 3D printer, which has been really cool. Nice. Yeah, the only problem is like it's a great thing, but where do you put it?
Is it how big is it? Like,
it's big, man.
Yeah, I mean, like it's bigger than like a toaster oven. Like it's bigger,
like
than that.
4, 5, 6 times the size of that. Like, yeah, it's pretty big. It's an Adventure 4 from FlashForge. It's really nice though, and it's been super duper fun to build stuff and things like that. But, it takes up a lot of your time. And then we're just patiently waiting for that Harry Potter game. Oh, and I did pre-order the PlayStation 2 VR for the kids for Christmas. I think that's out in February. So looking forward to that. Got everyone their presents and things like that. And then just start working on my video stuff, man. Like that's been a lot of what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm. Working on your new YouTube channel.
My new YouTube channel. Well, not a new YouTube channel, a new playlist within my YouTube channel.
Gotcha.
Which I need everyone to go watch. I mean, I think I'm at like 1,100 views now. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to help me because it's going to allow me to clean my attic, find out what's in my attic, and then also kind of as a third portion of that, let my kids know about this stuff, right? Because they could go upstairs and find something right in the attic and never know anything about it. Like, it's kind of going to be a little bit of a journey. I asked my parents I don't know if you guys have seen it, one of those books where they kind of write their life story sort of thing.
Oh yeah. I wanted to do one of those. I think.
Yeah. Cool. So I did that. I asked my parents to do that. So they're working on that. And then for me, what I do is I use my Facebook kind of like that. And then I use that company social book. My social book, and we do one every year and print that out because the only thing I do on Facebook is our trips, sports, and like family stuff. No reviews of my lunch or anything like that on there.
Well, do you want to plug your new YouTube show there?
Yeah. Well, I almost feel like maybe next episode, but I mean, if you just search YouTube and BSC Kids, right, which is what my new thing is in the group anyway, and you look down the list, you'll see that there is one called What's in My Attic, and it's just kind of a setup for what I'm going to be doing. I don't love it after I did it, but I needed to do something to kind of get, the thought process out there. But there's a lot of other cool stuff on there. One of the things that I miss doing is all the toy stuff. We used to go to Toy Fair all the time. And I think that's kind of fallen off because I keep getting like stuff like there used to be like at New York, there used to be a huge toy fair and it was in February and it was always for everything coming out that next Christmas. And it was so much fun. And you kind of got to look at everything that was coming out the next holiday. Now the toy business doesn't kind of work like that anymore. Even though there is a toy fair,
it's decentralized now, isn't it?
It's very decentralized. So things like, let's say, so Hasbro and Transformers, right? So that would always be announced at Toy Fair. Now those things are announced at other, like something that's specific to Transformers, right? Or other different things are announced in other different places. And a lot of things are now just announced throughout the year rather than, at this one location. So I miss that part of it. I remember going to the Hasbro one and they had an Optimus Prime on the street, like an actual truck.
Like a full-on
truck. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So that stuff doesn't exist anymore, but I'd like to get back into that stuff. So hopefully this channel will help me find some of the old toys. And I'm telling you, I have some Disney stuff. I just don't know what I have. It will be fun to kind of see what exists in my head versus what's actually up in this attic.
There.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting things, I'm sure. So it will be a fun journey. And my attic will be clean after that, which is really the whole point of it.
Which is the idea of it, yeah.
Yes.
What you just reminded me. So one of the things I got for someone for Christmas for my brother-in-law, I got him. It was called Hasbro Pulse, where I did a 3D scan of his face. I didn't tell him why, and then they 3D printed a head, and he has a custom Ghostbusters action figure with his head on it, which is pretty cool. It came out really good.
And what's interesting is now that you mentioned that is that so. One of the things that's kind of taken away from Toy Fair has been CES, which, kind of is the blending of toys and technology. So they actually invited me to go to the Hasbro booth, and Tom, they were doing those there. So like if you wanted to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because, those are all media events, so everything's free. So it was kind of cool, though, that they were talking about that as well. But
I say I was impressed with the quality. It came out really good, and it looked like, but it was to the point where my sister was like, "This is creepy," and I kind of don't want it in my house.
Yeah,
hyper realistic.
Yeah, it was pretty good, man. It came out better than I thought it was going to, and there's a lot of options too. Like you could do Mandalorian, you could do different Star Wars characters. There's Ghostbusters, there's Power Rangers. I opted for Ghostbusters, but you could do all sorts of different stuff. It was a pretty cool gift, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, what did you get? Did you get anything like, you want to talk about?
Well, so I was talking about gaming. I actually got a Steam Deck for
nice.
Those, for those that are into gaming, Steam basically, or Valve made it's the equivalent of like a Nintendo Switch, but it connects to your Steam account, which for me is far more expansive than anything the Switch offers. Yeah. So, I spent a lot of time playing with that over Christmas because
I'm looking at this now.
Yeah. It's, the dangerous thing about it is that, you can play usually I would have to go to my PC to play certain games, and now I can just play them anywhere, which, it's easy to not distract myself.
Which one did you get?
The 512, I believe.
Okay.
Or I think it was my wife that got it. So
okay.
It's a good system. It's a good little portable system,
because I play League of Legends, but it just really it wouldn't work for something like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it has the touchpads and everything, but yeah, certain games, you have to kind of fiddle with the controls if it's not like default controller support.
Okay.
But yeah, that was my big thing over Christmas, cool. And that was really the only thing that I didn't want. Like, I actually didn't even say that I wanted it until like I got back from my trip from Disney, and I was like, yeah, a Steam Deck would be nice. And my wife had already bought it at that point. I didn't know that.
That's funny.
So yeah, it turned out to be the one thing that I actually wanted, and I got it this year. So,
nice.
I kept it simple. Like I didn't, for me this year, it was it was more that time that we spent just like hanging out as a family. And like, we were playing, like I said, we were playing games together and doing all that kind of stuff. And, that's honestly really all I wanted this year. So, yeah.
Well, and and Trevor knows this, and I think I put this in the Discord, right? So I'm notoriously difficult to buy for, right? Because I'm not somebody that wants a lot of stuff, and I tend to, if I want something, I buy it, right? So like I don't know. I usually am hard.
My wife always says about me too. She's like, never buy you anything because you just buy it if you want it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Right. So the surprise gift of this year was my mom, of all people, bought me a Meta Quest 2. Which, I've said on the show before, I wasn't all that interested in VR. Like, VR is just kind of, okay, whatever to me. But I was completely wrong about this, because once I actually had it and was playing around with it, I was like, oh, this is really cool, and I'm really into this. Like, so, and actually Trevor and I played mini golf against each other over the break too, which was fun. That was a good time.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was fun. And I mean, so, but it's funny though, like once, you get that headset, and it was fun playing with, and it was definitely, everybody was having a good time messing around with it, while they were at the house. Like it immediately turns into like, oh, now there's all these other accessories I need to get. You know what I mean? Because it's like the head strap it comes with is not comfortable, right? So, and then the battery only lasts for like 2 hours. So it's like, okay, now you need to get another battery for it. And now they have the head straps that are also batteries too, which is what I got. And then also, I wear glasses and can't see without them. So it's like, and it's not the most comfortable thing to wear glasses inside of those things. So it's like, oh, you can get prescription lenses for it too. And so you don't have to wear glasses. And it's just, it becomes like a whole thing, So, and then of course all the games and everything. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so, been playing a lot of stuff on that besides golf, just been trying out some different stuff, and that's been a lot of fun. But it's funny because I know I've said so many times on here that it's just like, I'm not really that interested in VR, but now that I have one, a headset, is like, oh, this is pretty cool. I really like it. It's fun. And that's mostly what I've been doing is playing that, since I got it. So
what's your favorite so far?
It's a hard question, man. I mean, I really love that mini golf game that you suggested, that because I'm a huge mini golf guy, and I really love I love the mini golf game. What is it, Walkabout Mini Golf or whatever it is? I just recently bought the Iron Man VR game, which has been a lot of fun, despite how challenging it is to kind of fly and shoot stuff. I mean, it's been fun. I've enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, I mean, I would have to say the mini golf game so far. I bought, so I didn't realize that there's like, and this is just me being a newbie to the whole like VR thing, but like I didn't realize that like these games are like rated for certain comfort levels, right? And so I bought this plane flying one that literally like I don't get motion sick ever. Like I've never gotten motion sick, I think, in my life. And I was playing this flying game, and it was just, if it like felt so real that it made me motion sick and gave me like a headache. And I'm like, nope, can't do this. Like, I forget what game it was, but yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun, and it was cool playing mini golf online too with you and your brother. So that was a good time.
yeah, and yeah, like I said, I'd be down to do that again because as you saw, it's fun by yourself, but then when you have multiple people and it's almost like going out for a round of mini golf, right? Like you're just all chatting and playing and everything. Yeah.
Plus the courses are ridiculous in that game, so it's
right,
like, courses that couldn't exist in real life, right?
Mm-hmm. So did you buy the Labyrinth course?
I did buy the Labyrinth course, which is super weird and kind of creepy.
I love it. I think it's awesome because it just follows the movie, right? Like it
does. It does. It's funny because my sister decided to after she was at my house and she played with the Quest a bunch, she was like, I need to buy one of these now. Like, she's like, I'm obsessed with, especially with the golf game. She really loved the golf game too. So, but I was playing that one with her online, and she goes, this is crazy and I don't like it. And I was like, wait, have you ever seen Labyrinth before? And she's like, no. I'm like, how have you not seen Labyrinth?
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah. It's been years. I haven't seen Labyrinth in a while. I feel like I need to rewatch it now that I bought that course. So
it's a movie that lives in my head as like, I can replay it in my head at any point. I don't know why I just stuck. That and The Dark Crystal are like, some of my favorites.
Yeah, for sure. No, that course is fun though. Definitely fun. So Yeah, so that was my big thing for Christmas was that. I mean, it was like the one and only thing I basically got because my wife and I don't really exchange all that much because if we want stuff, we buy it. So we just kind of give each other random stuff. So, but the really funny thing about this though is I was talking about the prescription lenses for the headset, right? So I wanted to buy prescription lenses, but I was due to go to the eye doctor, and so I was like, all right, let me go to the eye doctor because the end of the year I need to use my insurance anyway. I'm due and all that, right? So I go and do it, and then I order the lenses, and the lenses for the VR set came before my glasses came, so now I can see better in VR than I can see in reality, which is pretty hilarious. But, whatever.
You actually don't want to spend a lot of time with the headset on. Like,
I know. I don't. I don't. I can't go for that long, man. Like, because I'm usually in it for like an hour at the most. Yeah. But
I guess, are you playing it standing or sitting? I guess
depends depending on what I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, I was also messing around a lot too with some of the VR like some of the stuff on YouTube. Like I was doing the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea thing that I think what is Defunct Land put together, the VR 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I was there's also like a whole channel of just Disney ride VR videos. Like so, I wrote a couple Disney rides just to mess around with it. But for those, I was sitting. But then if I'm playing a game where I need to move around, then obviously I'm standing. Like if you're doing like Beat Saber or something, can't really do that sitting. I guess you could. I mean, but
yeah, you can. It's not comfortable, but yeah,
exactly. So yeah, but anyway, that was my really major thing. But we had a really nice holiday time. It just went by so fast, and get back to work and all that kind of stuff, and. So anyway, that's all I got for the holidays. You guys have anything else? I'm sorry, Trevor. Go ahead.
Well, so let me just throw one thing out there. Like, Damon, you were saying you watched some shows. Was there anything?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Or not Christmas shows. But was there anything that you watched?
I watched that new Christmas show. I don't know if I told you guys
what
that
new
before.
Christmas show?
Something reindeer. It was animated. It had the dude from. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look it up. Reindeer in Here. Yeah, it was called Reindeer in Here.
I never even heard of that.
No, I've never heard of that. What is that?
It's I guess it's based on a book, I guess, about this reindeer blizzard, and I mean it was like that's what I would say it was. I don't know. I mean, I'm a classic kind of guy. I think for me it's still about the Miser Brothers Christmas is also one of my favorite newer ones, but yes, Virginia's is up there, but as well. I watched Alice in Borderland, the second season, which I think is the final season. Off the chain. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I know that there's a manga after that. I just don't necessarily see them doing Borderlands retry or whatever it's called. Retry, I think it's retry. But anyway, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I was surprised at how good it was. It's prompted conversation. It's, obviously don't want to talk so much to ruin the ending, but definitely has prompted some interesting conversations and was well worth the payoff past what some would consider a little gory. I think the payoff was there. Probably one of my top favorite shows.
Even though, yeah, you're right. It is a gory show. Like people die in various ways in the show, but I feel like the way that they handled most of it was like even the spots that were gory. It seemed almost like you said, because it's based on a manga. It seemed very like almost like cartoonish. Like I mean, the whole show really does, right? Like it's just otherworldly. So
and it's so interesting because if people are Squid Game fans, just remember that this came out first, right?
Yep.
And it's 100% better. Not even a question. So it's worth the watch.
It is. Sure. We watched it too, and it was an absolute roller coaster for season 2. Like I
agree.
Yeah, I like every episode we were like. We were talking about it like, well, what did this mean and all that. And then, like you said, the payoff at the end was really great. And then, we were even talking about it days afterwards because like it took me a little bit to kind of process everything that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I'm a big fan of watching a show and then finishing it and then reading everything there is that exists online about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I like, kind of thinking through it. I do the same thing eventually, but kind of figuring out what the puzzle was that they put, or what everything meant and all that.
I'm very much debating about getting the second manga series, but I just don't know. I just don't think it's going to be as impactful. I think I might just stop.
Yeah. Sometimes it's better to just like stop at a certain point and kind of leave the world in whatever states. And I feel like they ended the second season really well.
Yeah.
They left the window open at the very end there, but they didn't, I feel it was like, almost that happily ever after cut off, right? Like,
of course. So,
and the one thing that, or, me and my wife talking about, because it's Alice in Borderland, like, the parallels between that and Alice in Wonderland, like, it didn't seem obvious at first, but then the more you go through it, it's like, oh yeah, this is Alice in Wonderland, right? Like it was so good.
We have our Disney tie in there. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's Alice in Wonderland for adults.
Yes, and my daughter did love her print or her sketch. Yeah, that came out really good.
Oh, good.
So she was happy with that. Now it's more work for me to hang it up somewhere. So
yeah, I still got to hang up my attraction posters that have been sitting in the box. I had all these grand intentions of doing that over all this time that I was off, and I just
at least yours are framed now, right?
They're ready to go. Yeah.
See, I have, as part of this, what's in my attic thing. I know that there's just canisters and canisters of posters up there, right? And I'm like, I want to have like a room filled with them, but it's just too expensive. I feel like.
Yeah, I feel you there. I have a Mario Kart poster that my friend got signed by Charles Martinet, who is the voice of Mario. And I've had it for years. And same thing is, it's like, I know it's there, and it's like, I really need to get this framed and put up. But then the problem is, where do I put it?
And how much framing costs? It's just ridiculous.
It's a lot.
And listen,
for something big too, right? Like a poster is big, right? So.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, I spent, I got yelled at by my wife bringing the print home after getting it framed.
Because it costs so much to frame
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I said, listen, sometimes you just got to do it. Like, you can't get something like that. That's a once in a lifetime thing. Like, that just had to be framed the right way.
Yeah, you wanted to do that the right way. You don't want to just send that anywhere. Yeah.
Posters, I feel like you can kind of get done a little cheaper, but it's still, cheaper still, a couple $100 a poster, which is still a lot of money.
Because they don't sell like, the right size frames at Walmart for your poster.
No, I don't think you do a signed poster in a Walmart frame regardless. Never. I feel like
no, never.
You got to get that professionally done.
Yeah.
Yeah. For now, it's still in the tube until I get it signed properly.
There you go.
Or not signed, framed properly.
Properly. Yeah,
that's what I meant.
We have to talk Disney stuff, I guess.
We can. Let's get into it here.
Do you want to do Jill's question, Trevor?
Yeah. So Jill says, if Tinkerbell magically granted you the power to duplicate one attraction or element from each international park and drop it in Walt Disney World, what would you pick, and what land at Walt Disney World would you add it to?
I mean, I think you got to replace the Pirates of the Caribbean with the Shanghai one.
No, not well.
Or add. Maybe don't replace it. Maybe have both. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. I don't think that would be silly. Like, that just wouldn't even happen in our magical world of moving attractions. Yeah. I don't know. I like Pirates the way it is, to be honest with you. I mean, the new one looks cool, but I wish it was a different IP, and then I would move it. I would say the Beauty and the Beast thingy.
Oh, yeah.
The Beast thingy.
The new Beauty and the Beast.
New ride? Yeah. What about just Tokyo Disney Sea as a whole? Just move it over. The whole thing.
I would take the Tokyo Disney Sea, especially after my brother showed me videos because he went there, and I would love to have that added like next to Magic Kingdom.
Just bring the whole thing over. Just drop it in there. Because they have that Journey to the Center of the Earth ride that's kind of test tracky kind of ish.
They got a cool coaster there too.
They've got a lot of cool stuff there. Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think the one thing I would love to see come over would be Mystic Manor.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Good call out.
But the problem is, so I was trying to think, where would you put it? Because, and actually, I guess the
Hollywood
answer.
Studios?
No. So okay. Here's my line of thinking. we already have Haunted Mansion and Tower of Terror, which are like, in Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, we kind of have those, spooky rides, right? So the other two parks need a spooky ride, would be my thinking.
Okay.
I think it would almost need to go into Epcot, into one of the World Pavilions.
Okay. But which one though?
Well, so that's where
that's where the problem comes in.
Like Mystic Manor, the story I believe follows it follows the Adventurer Society, so it's kind of could almost fit into like England.
Okay,
but because it's from Tokyo, it could go into the Japan Pavilion. So I don't know which one I would put it in.
Yeah, but I mean, it could go, I feel like it would feel out of place in the Japan Pavilion just because it's not, even though it's in Tokyo,
it's not culturally fit.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I think it would have to go in England in that case.
I mean, you could even, that's good. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good one to bring up because that one's pretty good. I mean, you could also go with like the Pooh's Honey Hunt, the Winnie the Pooh ride that they have over there, because that one is pretty cool too. Yeah, I mean, there's some really good options at the overseas parks that you could bring over. So yeah, it's a good question, Jill. I like that one. Any other ones we want to bring up? No,
not on that question. No. This next one is which Dan is this?
I believe this is Dan H.
All right, with Figment waffles coming soon, that gives Disney World 3 waffle character shapes: Figment, Mickey, and Simba. How would you rank them? Also, what other waffle character shapes would you like to see, and how would? And where would they be served? I was going to say, how would they be served? Okay, where would they be served?
I didn't even see that a Figment waffle was coming. How did I miss this?
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Wait, is he
we all took time off and we totally missed this, I guess.
Is this in the Festival of the Arts? Is that, I mean, when we get to that part, are we going to see it? Because it
looks. I mean, is that it?
In the Festival of the Arts thing? I don't think that is, because that's just a regular waffle with a Figment picture on it. I'm talking. Yeah. It's got to be Figment shaped waffle, right?
Yeah, this is not what I was thinking.
No, this is just a sticker on a waffle that looks like a what are they called? Hashtag. It's like hashtag Figment.
Yeah.
I'm googling Figment waffles.
I am. I'm looking at it. Is this that rainbow thing?
That's not really a Figment waffle.
It's a waffle with Figment on it.
Yeah, it's a hashtag with Figment on it.
So I was envisioning like the Mickey waffle, but
that's what I was thinking.
Mickey with Figment.
Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly what was in my mind. But yeah, this is not a Figment waffle. This is just a waffle with Figment on it.
I would say Winnie the Pooh definitely would be a waffle.
Can I just point out quickly, I like that how we're all on the same wavelength of like, this is how the waffle has to be. Like just
a very important question.
We are rejecting this Figment waffle.
I just find it funny that we all came to the same conclusion without even looking at the picture. We're like, this is what it's supposed to be.
Well, because we have the image in our minds of what a Mickey and a Simba waffle are, right? Like it's the waffle shaped like those characters. You can't, if you're going to do a Figment waffle, do a Figment waffle. Don't just do a waffle you throw a picture of Figment on. Like, that's not a Figment waffle. Yeah. So to answer the question, how would we rank them? It goes Mickey, Simba, Figment, because Figment doesn't count.
Absolutely. I don't even think there's a question about that ranking.
Yeah. I mean, if it was a waffle shaped like Figment, then Figment would probably be number one for me. But
I'd have to see it though, because I'd have to see it too. I'd have to see it.
This is a Figment waffle, but a tribute. Shout out to Tenacious D.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. You should just do it. I mean, how hard is it to make a shaped waffle? I mean, they just got to make a custom waffle iron thing, right? I mean, that can't be that hard.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm mad now. I'm mad now.
But yeah, you're right. Winnie the Pooh, it would be the next. That would be an easy.
That'd be an easy one. I feel like.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I would like to see like more of like the Fab Five characters. Like, give me a Donald. Mm-hmm. Give me a Donald waffle. I'd eat a Donald waffle.
I thought there was a Donald waffle in one of the overseas parks again.
Is there?
Yeah.
All right, now I'm Googling Donald Duck waffle.
There is, but it's a waffle with Donald Duck stuck in the middle.
It's the same.
It's like an Eggo waffle with,
Yeah.
It's the same Figment problem.
No, I think this is way better than Figment. Figment's like a sugar Like
I see.
Printed on the sugar thing.
Okay, yeah, no, I got it now. Okay, so yeah, it's just got Donald in the middle. Okay.
But my thing is, why couldn't they just use that middle part and get rid of the Eggo-ness?
Just cut out the outside of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could. Why can't you? They do it with the Mickey waffles.
Yeah, because it almost cheapens it.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with this.
Waffle
I just can't believe we're
connoisseurs.
talking about waffles like this.
Yeah.
This is just ridiculous.
And I don't even really like waffles. I'm a French toast sort of person.
Oh, really? You don't like a good waffle?
I feel you there.
They're fine, but I like
yeah.
French toast. Like, because we had pancakes today. My wife made pancakes, and I was just like, it was crazy the amount of disappointment, which I did not voice, but it was just the disappointment in my soul that it wasn't French toast.
I was going to say, you were disappointed with your wife's waffles. Did you tell her that?
No, it was pancakes. It was
Pancakes?
pancakes. I was just disappointed. So then I had to ask her, can you at least throw blueberries in it? Like, make it like kind of respectable. I mean, but it's still not French toast.
See, I go chocolate chips there. I like blueberries too, but
Chocolate chips is a little much for me. See, I was trying to explain to, I don't think my wife just can't buy into this. And my son's the same way. When we like something, I want to eat it all the time until I hate it. And
I do the same thing with music.
Oh yeah,
she can't buy into this. So she's always asking, "What do you want for dinner?" And I'm like, "How about chicken cheese sticks?" Right? Because I don't do beef. So I said chicken cheese sticks. You're pretty much talking about ground chicken, some cheese sauce you make, and peppers and onions. Okay, so next week, what do you want for dinner? I mean, can we do chicken cheese steaks? Or why? We just had them last week. I said, you don't understand. I'll have
because it's good right
every
now.
single day until I'm sick of them.
Yeah.
And that would be fine by me. Same thing with French toast. I have French toast every weekend until I'm sick of it.
I do like French toast. Do you like a stuffed French toast, or is it just regular French toast?
No, I just like a regular French toast, to be honest with you. And I was kind of, I tried to make this marshmallow pudding this weekend that just didn't turn out. It was one of those things where the recipe was just not, it was very TikTok-ish, right? Like it was, here it is, here's the ingredients, and kind of go off on your own. And it didn't work. So I'm going to try it again. But because I had this like kind of taste in my mouth, like I felt like it was a French toast sort of morning. But alas, that did not happen.
You're making me miss. So we have there's a historical park in our city. It's called Heritage Park. I know original name. And they have a bakery in there where they do like everything old fashioned, right? Like it's all handmade, baked, all that kind of stuff. And they do sourdough there, which, it's like really, really good sourdough. And sourdough French toast to me is like,
I could get down with that.
Yeah, because it gives, like, you get the sweet from the French toast, but then the sourdough kind of, balances it out a little bit. Yeah.
And I have to go on record here because I've been continuing to use Jeremy's maple syrup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
the 50-gallon barrel that you got from him.
No, I don't even remember how much I got, but I tell you, the first one's almost gone. And I'm going to say, as kind of, I've continued, I say pancakes is not where it's at with that. But as I've continued to French toast, I would say that the taste of that maple syrup works extremely well with like a vanilla-y, custardy egg sort of French toast. And I'm going to commend him on that. And again, I don't love it with pancakes, but I would say it does really well with French toast.
It's like a smoked, right? It's like a smoked
syrup.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very complex sort of taste, and I think it does extremely well there. So as I kind of moved on from pancakes, we used to do pancakes all the time, when I'm on this French toast kick, I would say that it's definitely a winner there.
All right.
Yeah, maple syrup with French toast is where it's at. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's almost to the point where the first, I think I got 2 whatevers of it, right? And they were definitely not gallons, but I don't know, whatever they were.
Large.
I would say that I think we're going to be going on the second one soon, and I'm going to have him get it again, I feel like, for me, which I never thought I would have said.
Yeah, because you weren't like that into it.
I really wasn't about it, but I think that it just didn't shine with pancakes. It just didn't do it there. It just really started to shine because, again, it's a little bit of a complex sort of syrup with French toast. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
We've deviated from our waffle discussion.
Any other breakfast foods we want to talk about? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a big breakfast person. I love breakfast.
Me too.
So I'll talk like I could just eat breakfast. I love breakfast. So
there's a breakfast podcast,
Is it really?
And all they do is talk about breakfast. And it's been around for like ever.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See, I'm a big like sausage, gravy, and biscuits kind of guy. I mean,
I could do that. I like to kind of, go back and forth between sweet and savory, but yeah, I can do that. I'm an Eggs Benedict kind of guy.
Okay.
And we have a place here that does, some award-winning Eggs Benedict. And prior to COVID, we would go at least once a month because they had a different flavor every month. They used to have the Thanksgiving one, which was so good. Thanksgiving Eggs Benedict. But that's my thing. And French toast. So Eggs Benedict and French toast.
Yeah. It's very much a mood thing, right? Like for me, it's, you wake up and, some days it's like, you're not, it's just whatever, you have cereal or, yogurt and granola or whatnot. But then, yeah, like you said, you get, it's like kind of like you, Dame. It's, some mornings I wake up and I'm like, I am going all out. Like, this is going to be really good French toast that I'm having this morning. And I don't care that it's going to take me like an hour to get breakfast going.
Yeah. See, we got bagels this morning, and I was like, do I want just a bagel this morning? And so I got home, I was like, I'm going to make some eggs and make myself an egg sandwich on this bagel.
I did eat bagels too.
Yeah, it was like a good bagel. But sometimes I want a hot breakfast. Sometimes I don't just want. I'll toast my bagel, but that's not really a hot breakfast to me. So
no,
I need some eggs or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, what a weird beginning to this show. All right, so
we haven't talked in a while.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Okay, so I put this next one on because this came out while we were gone a couple weeks ago, and so an Instagram post from a former Imagineer, Brandon Clayla, I'm going to go with, shared a pitch that he once gave to incorporate Gravity Falls into Frontierland at Disneyland. So we've talked on this show before, like, why don't they have a Gravity Falls attraction? It looks like an Imagineer tried at some point.
Too early though. That was the problem.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
So
yeah.
If you kind of go through the timeline, that right, and they even say it here is that the show found its popularity after it had been canceled.
I
don't know, like
finished.
That's what I would say too. That's where I start to kind of don't agree with that. I think Alex Hirsch always said that he had a plan to finish the show. So, but anyway, irrelevant of that, I think it was still pitched a little too early. This was something that I think, a show that built up a little steam, even though I watched it when it was live. I think that a year maybe after the show had finished would have been okay. Like I'm still not sold on this DuckTales thing, to be honest with you. I feel like that was way more of a flash in the pan than Gravity Falls was.
Yeah, but I mean, DuckTales also has like the previous series. You know what I mean?
Well, it's riding off of the previous
87 OG series. I get it. But when you think about it, right, if you're, I don't know. I feel like this would have been so awesome, but, and it could have actually been the same sort of thing, right? It could have taken over instead of Kim Possible or instead of this DuckTales thing that, right? Like it could have been not even a ride per se, but just something.
So the quote from the Imaginary said, "The things you find while you're cleaning out storage. This was an idea I pitched, and they looked at me like I was insane. I have vivid memories of that meeting where I was asked some of the dumbest questions I've ever been asked. It's a shame the show finally found its popularity after it had been canceled." And then he tags Alex Hirsch in there. "We could have had so much fun. Oh well, another idea on the pile of forgotten ideas." But the idea here is that the Mystery Shack. It seems like the Mystery Shack would have been built at Big Thunder Ranch.
Which is now
Galaxy's Edge, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, it's interesting because they don't really he doesn't detail what it would be, if it would be just like a ride or just like a.
No, he says it would have been a short walkthrough featuring oddities, which was found on home of Grunkle Stan's tourist trap, which would have been terrible.
Yeah, I mean, just to do that, I mean, I feel like you need a ride.
I think that's why it didn't work, right? Because Disney and walkthroughs, we're going to see how the Moana thing works, right? But I just don't know if it would have been. I don't know. I don't think that's a good use of that IP.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what you could even make as a ride out of Gravity Falls.
I mean, you could do a million things.
Yeah,
there's so many ways you can go with it.
No, I agree, but I'm just trying to think of one.
I mean, think about it. You could just do a ride, right, where you're dealing with Bill. Like a dark ride. That could be anything. Yeah, it could be a dark ride, and that would have been fine. I mean, I would say one of my favorite episodes is still the mini golf one. I think we learn a lot at the end of that, which is cool too, right? and it's funny because it's mini golf, right? That's such a great episode.
That's a great episode.
Yeah, it just there's a lot to do, but I don't love this idea, and I think it was pitched at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So bit of a side. So back to, talking about VR mini golf. I've sung the song from that episode to my brother a couple of times when we play mini golf, and he doesn't quite get it because he didn't watch Gravity Falls, but it's funny to me.
How do you have a brother that didn't watch Gravity Falls? I feel like that's like a family situation that needs to be rectified.
So he's actually about 6 years younger than me. So
Okay.
When Gravity Falls was on, his kids were like very, very young, like toddlers kind of thing. So he was just in a different space where that kind of stuff was just not on his radar. So he missed a lot of stuff that like.
But as a big brother, have you not, forcibly rectified that? Yeah.
Because my little brother is about 8 inches taller than me.
Oh my God.
He could actually like hurt me if he really wanted to.
And you're not short.
No, he is tall. Like he is really tall. And
don't make me do metric conversions, please.
But I'm just thinking, oh gosh, I've just, you made me imagine Damon like a Clockwork Orange kind of situation where he's like, he straps him down in a chair and holds his eyes open. Is like, you're going to watch Gravity Falls. Yeah. So anyway, anything else on this? I mean,
no.
By the way, this is this is the Imagineer that designed Trader Sam's at both Disneyland and Disney World. So yeah.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah.
It could have worked. It definitely could have worked, but yeah, I think just pitching the Mystery Shack was not enough.
No, you got to have more than just a walkthrough attraction for that, right? Like, but you're right though. I do think it came too early because it was one of those shows that picked up later, right? So, yeah, it is interesting though that it was pitched because we've been talking about this forever. Why haven't they done that, right? And obviously it was brought up at one point. So
maybe it'll be like the Little Mermaid ride where it rears its head 20 years later.
Yeah, that's the thing. They have a saying at Imagineering that no ideas, or they say no good ideas are ever thrown away, right? So I don't know. Although I'm surprised this guy can just have like this paperwork in storage. You would think that Disney wouldn't allow you to take that stuff away with you, but I guess.
Well, if it gets the thumbs down on the pitch, maybe they don't care all that much.
Maybe they don't care. Yeah.
I mean, he probably was working on it at home. I'm sure the Imagineers don't do all their Imagineering in the office.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's true.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. All right. So now I have on here what Becky calls in the Discord the stupid $750 dining promo offer. I mean, I think that's what she called. I don't want to misquote her, but it was something to that extent. So essentially, Disney a couple of years ago said that they were going to bring back the dining plan, right? That has obviously not happened yet. So, and I think it's interesting because I think part of the reason why is probably because, she called it silly. I'm sorry. I went back to check. I don't want to misquote Becky. She called it silly.
Okay.
But, I think part of the reason they ever brought the dining plan back is because they've said many times that they're struggling to get kitchen staff. And I'm sure it's, if they bring back the dining,
I also think that there's this large soft cost with the dining plan in terms of, people's time making sure that it's correct. And I'm talking about the Disney, cast members, making sure it's correct, making sure they're doing it the right way, making sure that people understand what they're getting, making sure this, making sure that. Like, I think that there's
guest relations kind of.
Yeah, there's just a large soft cost with that. I just don't know if it's necessarily worth it. Now, I'm sure they probably, do they make up on it on the other end? Like, I'm sure people obviously just miss things and don't get things. But then again, you also have people that are loading up because of what they have left before they leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just, I don't know. I think there's just a lot of soft cost in that is probably not a good thing.
Yeah. And I mean, while Disney's back staffed up too, it seems like one of the places they're still struggling is in some of the restaurants. And so, you add the dining plan and that obviously is going to increase the amount of people that are using the restaurants. This almost feels like a middle ground between bringing the dining plan back, and they needed to do some promotion because they always do the free dining plan promotion at a time when it's a little bit slower, right? Like during kind of like the off season to bring in more people, right? So what this offer is, if you guys haven't heard about this is between June 25th and September 14th with a minimum 5-night minimum stay and a 4-day ticket. And by the way, this is the same as the free dining plan was, where you're paying full price for the resort. So it may, or I mean, I don't know. I'd have to do the math on it. May or may not be a great value. Because sometimes it was with the dining plan, sometimes it wasn't. It just, sometimes it made more sense to take the discount at the resort, right? So, but basically what they're doing is per night, they're giving you a certain amount of money. So if between certain dates in June and July, it's $35 per night at value, $75 per night at moderate, and then $125 for deluxe, and then $50, $100, and $150 for July and August dates. But at all times, it's going to max out at $750. So, I guess you kind of got to do the math on whether it makes more sense to do that offer and get $750 in dining credits, or the discount on the resort is going to be more,
I mean, so, okay, just thinking about my family and how we did meals when we were in Disney. So $35 is a single meal.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it's not like it's not like you're getting your dining for, and I'm using air quotes, free. No. You're getting just, they're paying for like a meal per day, or, if you go up to deluxe resorts, obviously, yeah, it's basically every day your food is taken care of, but, you're paying for you're paying rack rate for a deluxe resort,
exactly.
Which,
yeah.
You're not really winning on that. So, I mean, for me personally, doing the math on these, there's no scenario where this feels valuable to me.
Well, even in the past with the free dining plan, like for our family, it wouldn't have saved us money, right? To do the dining plan, the free dining plan, it would have saved us more money to do the hotel discount,
Yeah, but I guess the one thing with this is because they're giving you actual like a gift card.
That's basically all it is gift card
versus dining credits. I guess you can much more easily see what you're spending and see, how, I feel this is easier to use. Yeah, because, you're not monkeying with, well, I have no meals left, but I have snacks left, so I can only order this thing from the menu. It's just, here's the amount of money you have per day, figure out what you want to do with it.
I want to say yes and no to that, Trevor, right? So yes on the management part, but the actual implementation of it, I feel like, so because
it's expensive.
No. What I mean is you can't, I got a dining promo card one time, right? I talked about this. I had a weird interaction with a DVC cast member, and then they gave me a dining promo, like a $50 dining card, just as an apology for no real reason. It was fine. I wasn't upset or anything. I didn't complain about anything. It was just a weird, I think I talked about it on the show where somebody from DVC basically told me no on something that was silly, and then immediately kind of backtracked and felt bad because they're not supposed to say no to stuff, right?
Yeah.
Especially, I wasn't making a request. I was literally my friend's working, can you call her for me? And they were like, no. But anyway, so I keep every time I'm there, I forget that I have this card, right? So for me, the dining plan was easy because it was already on your Magic Band, right? So you just scan your band and it removes the credit, right? Whereas this, you can't put it on your Magic Band. It's you have the card. You have to remember that you have the card and use the card. That's the inconvenience to me, right? That's the part that I wouldn't like. I just, when I go to Disney, I don't bring my wallet with me. I just go, I mean, I have a little skinny wallet I bring just for my ID and the DVC cards and stuff like that. But it's, much smaller, and I don't really carry anything else in there. And I use my Magic Band for everything. So I like the convenience of going to dinner or getting a snack and just tapping my band. But you can't really do that with this, because it's the card. I wish they could integrate it into the Magic Band somehow, but I don't know. That's me. That's just me. I like the convenience piece.
That's fair. Yeah, like I said, I guess if I knew they handed me $750 on a card, that would be the first thing I would be, going with. I know what you're saying is, yeah, you kind of get into a mode of just scan your Magic Band. But yeah, like I said, for me, all around this, they're trying, but and I mean, really, it's irrelevant to me anyway, because also the dates that they're talking about, there's only 1 week. If I was to actually take advantage of this, I would maybe go beginning of September, but even that's, I would probably lean against that because I've had bad experiences going beginning of September with hurricanes and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know. Disney's trying, but I think I'm hoping that they will take some feedback from this. And, I don't expect them to just bring back the dining plan how it was, like we've said before is, I hope that they put some more thought into it and they find something that makes sense for the way people are traveling right now.
Sure.
Instead of just, giving you a gift card that
I'm sure this is going to book up though, man. I'm sure this is going to be popular. I mean,
I'm sure. I mean, for people that this lines up with, like, if you're already planning to go at that time, I wouldn't say no to it if it was like, well, I already am booking these days, doing this. Sure. People will take advantage of it. I don't think a lot of people are going to go out of their way to change plans just for this.
No, I agree. I do think the dining plan is going to come back at some point. Like, I do think they will bring it back. Now, when that's going to be, obviously not this year, right? Because if they're offering this offer, I don't see them bringing back the dining plan. The dining plan was really always just a thing that they could, like, first of all, they probably made a lot of money on the dining plan, I would think. Like, right? Because not everybody uses all their meals. I mean, I don't know. I would think they probably make some good money on that plan. But second of all, like, they used it as a incentive to get people to come to the resort when they needed to get people, right? Like, they always have these things that they use as incentives to fill in the busy times of the year, and the free dining plan was one of those things. And so I do think it could make a comeback, especially if they see like a huge slowdown in people coming. Like, they can always bring this back, but
yeah,
obviously they don't feel like they need to yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this next year is going to be a lot different because now that they're kind of over the all the anniversary stuff at Disney World.
Yeah,
I know they're doing like the 100 years of Disney stuff, but
there's a lot of new stuff opening this year, though. I mean, like, all the Epcot stuff's going to open this year, and then all the the Tron's going to open. So I mean, like, they do have stuff that they can promote, but I mean, yeah, it is going to be different,
right? I feel like the Tron thing, it's been so like drawn out. Yeah, I feel like they're going to release it, and I don't think it's going to get the hype that people,
because it's been so drawn out.
Yeah,
maybe. I think it's still going to be popular. I mean,
no doubt about that. But I think it's not going to it's not going to be exciting the same way like Galaxy's Edge was.
Sure.
Right. Or like the rides in Galaxy's Edge. I think people are going to, kind of go, oh yeah, Tron. Like,
so I just want to point out again, I was playing pickleball with my oldest and two of his friends, and one of them goes to Disney all the time. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they go, a fair amount, but more than us. He said the same thing about Guardians. I'm just letting you guys know it wasn't me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just letting you know, and I was surprised. I wouldn't have thunk that. But yeah, said the same thing. Like, it was okay. I just like to keep pointing it out. Like, when I find that sort of same mentality in the wild, I feel like I need to bring it out.
You need to bring it up just to so you don't feel like you were the only one.
Exactly.
I understand where you're coming from, Damon. Like, this is the thing is, I don't have to agree with you, but I totally understand why you feel that way. Yeah. I just don't feel that way.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm not upset you don't feel that way, but I feel like I don't get.
I feel like you have to defend yourself.
I have to defend this opinion for sure. Absolutely,
that's fair. That's fair. All right. So, do we want to move on from the dining thing? Let's talk about. There was a bunch of patents that
this first one's just dumb.
Well, I mean, I think this is not one that like really is going to do well. I mean, I
think it's good from a safety standpoint. Absolutely.
Yeah. It might lead to better character interaction somehow, right? Like,
you think so?
Yeah. Well, like, maybe, part of the reason I think, from what I heard, the reason they got rid of like the talking Mickey, used to have the mouth moving Mickey, is that like the head, I guess, was like heavy and difficult to see out of, right? So like, if they're trying to solve for that kind of thing so they can bring something like that back, I'm like, okay, that's great, right? But essentially what this is, it's a head-mounted display for an operator in a suit of some sort, so it makes it easier for them to see, basically, so they are not running into people and things. So,
pretty much like a VR system.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the idea is that it would give them more visibility. I was like thinking to myself, like, how cool would it be if it was like a kind of like an Iron Man kind of thing, and then like they could like read your magic band and know what your name is, and like it just like highlights each person and tells you what their name is and maybe their birthday or something. I don't know if they're there celebrating something. I'm sure they could do that. I don't see why not, right?
I think that could be the next layer of something like this. So this is just like the way I'm reading this is it's giving if you're in a costume, you have a limited field of view, and they're utilizing cameras to widen that field of view so that you can see like peripheral vision and all that. Which for characters that's really important because they don't always know what's going on around them, and means one, they can react better, and two, not get into unsafe situations with guests. The other
especially
side
during the parades and stuff, I feel like too.
Oh yeah, parades, yeah.
Yeah, the other side of that is like you said, you could potentially add augmented reality to this at some point where people you look at somebody and kind of like that scene from Spider-Man Far From Home where he puts on the glasses and you can see like everybody's information on the bus, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. like that's a potential.
Yeah, that's
thing.
Potential too. But what about this? What about if you're talking about being able to remotely operate a character?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cause then you're not having a remote control car driver. Basically you have somebody who is actually like moving from the perspective of the character.
Yeah.
Which
very Voltron-ish.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Well, it's interesting here though too because this is an upgrade from just the mesh that they look out of now.
I think from a safety standpoint, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Why not do this? I mean, the technology's there to do something like this. Like, it makes sense for them to do it, right? Like, but and they did the use case of a car driving through Cars Land, or a character obviously in a meet and greet situation. But I think it's an interesting piece of technology that they could definitely use in these character interactions. So this other one is Disney patents web tech like merchandise that can interact with theme park rides. So essentially, the idea is to
make more money.
Yeah, it's like a merchandise patent. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool though. I mean, I get it, but it's a money forward sort of patent for sure.
Yeah. It's like a Spider-Man like web shooter thing you wear on your hand that you can use to interact with different things or in a ride or elsewhere, I guess.
Don't we already have stuff like this though?
Yeah, we kind of do.
Yeah, Universal we do.
Well, no, I
was actually thinking at Toys R Us, but okay.
I mean, they have this.
We don't have Toys R Us anymore, man.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Toys R Us is still a thing up here for anybody.
That's really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's huge in Canada. It's awesome.
No, this existed though from Magic Bands, right? Like, Magic Bands have been doing this. It's not really new technology. I'm guessing it's more of just the actual wearing of it, like the actual web shooter kind of form. It seems like. I don't know. It doesn't really give a lot of details in the patent, to be honest. And then
can use augmenting objects to enhance a ride experience. That is so
vague,
general.
Yeah, it's pretty vague. But I also thought they had. Don't they have merch for in the Marvel Land at Disneyland that can interact with the ride in some ways? I thought they did, like the spiders. Didn't they have like a little robot spider and
it's kind of like getting the droids in Galaxy's Edge, where the droids will like chatter back and forth and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, I think this other one is much more interesting.
Okay.
Disney files patent for air and water powered flying robots. So the patent is called Untethered Robot with Hybrid Air and Water Power for Hovering and Quick Airborne Movements. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what that. It says it describes a way to control the movements of flying and or landing robots with a combination of thrust via air or water. I feel like there's a million things they could do with that.
what about a million safe things they could do with that? Because, like,
yeah, safe things,
this to me reads like, we talked about, and sorry, maybe this is me, tempering my expectations. Is remember they talked about like using drones in Galaxy's Edge. We were like, oh, that would be so cool. And it turned out to be just that, one drone that they used for the one time. Right. And yeah, I feel like, something like this, it's like, okay, you actually need a lot of space to execute. Like if you have something that's moving around in the air, even if it's using water power, like, if it's tethered to something and it's, moving through the water, you need a lot of space, and you need somewhere where people can view it from, but not get in the path of what it's doing.
Yeah.
So it actually is very limiting. Like to them, they want things to be interactive, and, they want to utilize space. Like they don't want to have a space dedicated just to one thing. And then nobody else can use that space. Right. Like
I'm thinking of it more of like in shows and like the way like they use Spider-Man and Marvel, in the Marvel Land over at Disneyland, right? Like it's like a backstage area that people can see, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess. But also they're talking about putting projections onto this too, like having projectors be able to put images onto the robot while it's moving. There's some interesting things you could do with that too. I mean, especially in shows like Fantasmic or like whatever they're going to do at Epcot. There's some interesting applications. And I mean, this article notes that it seems similar to the Spider-Man robot that they use at Avengers Campus. And just with some updates,
Yeah.
Which maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah. But as long again, I'm just thinking about the one time that robot missed.
Well, I mean, like, it happened just the one time, right?
Yeah. I mean, it looked like it would have hurt if it wasn't a robot.
Yeah, well, I hope, like, I'm sure there's some child that saw that and was like, oh no, Spider-Man, no. Like, was very concerned about the health of Spider-Man.
But he got up. He was fine.
Yeah, he was fine. Yeah, he got up. He's okay. I definitely want to go to Disneyland, like, just to see that, because it just looks very cool. I mean, I've seen videos of it a bunch, but it looks very cool. So all right, well, that's all that I did put on here. So we're not talking about the same stuff. I did put a food thing on here because we do have the International Festival of the Arts beginning January 13th, which is very soon, and it's also a very short one. It's only about a month and like a week. So, but they have 50 new items added to the food booths, and so I have an article of just all of the 50 new food items,
including the Figment waffle that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, the Figment waffle. That's not really a waffle. Well, not really a Figment waffle, but
Figment sticker on a waffle.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit of food. It's been a while, right? So I just, like, if you guys just want to scroll down and anything that you see, but I mean, this first thing looks pretty good to me: a pimento cheese bacon and fried green tomato grilled cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big tomato fan, but I'd eat the rest of that.
I would eat that, but this list is just long.
What? The list is long?
The list is long.
I don't think it's that long. I mean, it's 50 items, right? So, I mean, what about a Black Forest cake? Do you guys do a
I would eat that.
Yeah, I need Black Forest cake. I don't
artist table I could skip.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, there's.
I want to try Angry Crab.
What is Angry? Wait, where's Angry Crab? Where's that?
Modern near Test Track. It's Angry Crab. It's a crispy soft shell crab with green papaya salad and sriracha fluid gel.
Okay, that doesn't sound appetizing. Mango sriracha fluid gel.
But I would eat the thing above it, that compressed watermelon thingy.
Taki, yeah.
Yeah, I'd eat that.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that one it's called the trop. Look, they're starting to mark their photos. So you're talking about so you're not talking about the one with like the big photo, right? You're talking about the one next to it. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what about the one below it, the tropics, which is I don't even know how to say that word.
It looks like I don't want to pay for that.
It's probably $8 for that.
Oh, probably more, but yeah, I don't want to pay for that. But what is this Figment's stuff? Fruit pizza? Like, I don't think I'm down for that, but this grape smoothie with freeze-dried Skittle-sized candies?
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good if I'm splitting it with 5 people, but it definitely sounds good.
Sounds very sweet.
Yeah.
Freeze-dried Skittles sounds like it's going to hurt my teeth in more than one way.
Yeah.
Not if they're freeze-dried. I don't feel like they would.
It should be like crispy, right? Kind of like they're not as hard, I wouldn't think.
I guess maybe they would be more brittle. To me, that just seems like... Because Skittles aren't, like, hard.
No,
usually,
I mean,
right?
Yeah.
No, it depends. Depends how long they've been in the machine for.
Yeah. If you're feeling daring, you can try the old Skittles. But
I mean, the rest of the stuff isn't new. That was the only new stuff.
Well, the fruit pizza, so watermelon, compressed cantaloupe, berries, and berry balsamic. That sounds, that sounds all right. The Figment Liege waffle is the one that we've been talking about. Which, listen, it looks good. It's just not a Figment waffle. Like, I'd eat that. I like a Liege waffle, but it's, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Doesn't do anything for me. What is this? France one? Plant-based Napoleon with
But these aren't new.
This is 50 new items. Does
it? Then why are some labeled new for 2023?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just saying... Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Mm-hmm. The whole article is supposed to be all 50 new items, so I would assume all of the items are new, but I guess not? I don't know.
Not sure.
It's very confusing.
I like beets, though, so I would definitely be down for that beet thing.
You like beets?
Love beets.
French.
Who doesn't like
Napoleon?
Beets? Me and Dwight, we love beets.
A plant-based Napoleon with beets, cashew herb filling, pepper, pine nut sauce, and balsamic vinegar caviar. That just
it's all plant-based.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not for me. That's
like
not
beets.
For me.
I would try it.
Yeah. I mean, what about this over in Mexico? It's the carne asada. I mean, I don't eat red meat all that often, so I'm just reading the flan de coco, right? So the coconut flan, guava sauce, and whipped cream. No, I don't do coconut. I hate coconut, man.
Yeah, I'm the further I'm going down here, like none of this seems. I feel like we've seen all this stuff before.
I mean, maybe they said all 50 new items, though. I don't. Yeah, it's really weird. This funnel cake is definitely old. Yeah, that funnel cake has definitely been there before. I remember that funnel cake.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff feels too fancy for me. Like this, it feels like stuff I don't.
It's a festival of the arts. It has to.
Yeah,
I know it
has to be artsy and all that. Yeah. So,
what about this mozzarella fritta? It's basically a mozzarella stick with like a palette of things that you can put on
a monocle.
It's a mozzarella stick. Yeah. It's a mozzarella stick with a monocle. That's 100% correct, David. That is exactly how to put it.
Here's my thing with that. For the amount of stuff that they have around it, you're going to run out of the fritta before you get through half of these.
100%, man. It's not like big. It's like the size of a hash brown.
Yeah.
And there's like,
but look at this sauce. Look at how small that little teeny tiny spoon is. This is probably like the size of a quarter.
This is so tiny.
Well, I'm not taking teeny tiny bits of sauce and putting it on my fritta. I'm dipping it. This would be done in like 3 bites from the looks of it.
It does, right? It's hard to tell the scale of it, but you're right. It does look very small. So. All right. Well, we rolled through those pretty quick. All right. So the next 2 are Disneyland things. So, Damon, if you want to clock out at this point.
Yeah, I think I'm clocking out on this one.
All right. That's fine. That's fine. Thanks, David. All right. So new details about the New World of Color show have been released. I took a look. I don't know, Trevor, if you watch the video. I know you don't usually watch videos because you don't like spoilers, but I don't know the next time you're going to Disneyland, so maybe you just watched it. But it looks awesome from the video I watched.
Yeah, I mean it's World of Color, and the description says it's World of Color 1 celebrates how a single action, like a drop of water, creates a ripple that can grow into a wave of change. Like, I mean, that's very typical Disney storytelling.
Oh, 100%, 1,000%, right?
But yeah. I mean, World of Color in and of itself is it's a great show. Like it's one of those. Every time they do, like I've seen probably about 4 different shows now for World of Color, and it's honestly, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just, you just go there and you just get lost in the show. Like that's all there is to it.
You know what I was thinking about though, Trevor? It's interesting because World of Color feels very beloved to me, right? Like,
yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like similar shows at Disney World are hated. You know what I mean? Like the water and projection type shows are just,
it's not the same,
I guess, but like, I mean, I've watched like a video of it before, right? Which, listen, I haven't seen it in person. That's one thing, right? But like, if you go to Harmonious feels like it's like the evolution of a World of Color, right? Where it's like they have all this different water features, different cranes and screens and all sorts of crazy stuff. And so many people don't like Harmonious, but World of Color is always thought of as, I mean, listen, I know you're saying it's different. I'm just saying it's a similar style show, right? Projection, water features, all that kind of stuff.
Do you know what the problem is? Harmonious does not actually make good use of the space.
That's a fair point, right? Yeah.
So, and yeah, the reason I'm saying that is that, when you're standing in the World Pavilion, it's a very large lagoon, and most of the action is happening just in the center. And so you've got like, the Stargate and everything going on. And then you'll get things like around the sides, but again, it's very like they're trying to cover the airspace, but there's still a lot of blank water space, and I get it. You can't fill an entire lagoon like that. But that's where World of Color is different. Is that basically the majority of the lagoon where they do the show is the show, so it is far more immersive. Like I know what you're saying. Again, like watching it on YouTube, they do look very similar, but it's because when you're standing on the pier. And you get, it's not just the water show. You get effects going on the rides nearby. So like Mickey's Fun Wheel and the Incredicoaster will have things going on them. Like it's, so it's not, it would be the equivalent of like, if you're watching World of Color, or not World of Color, if you're watching Harmonious, like it's almost like Harmonious would have to be in like, how there used to be like the courtyard area in front of Spaceship Earth, or how they're redoing that now.
Yeah.
It all like, imagine like watching a show, but you just had the fountain and you had everything around you doing the show versus kind of like looking out over the water at a show.
Sure. I get that.
Like that to me is the big difference between, why people like World of Color and they don't necessarily like the Epcot shows, is that, it's a bigger venue. And in your head, you go, oh, Disney World is bigger. So that means, bigger is always better. Not always true, because World of Color, they very effectively make use of the entire space that you're standing in. Like you're standing in the middle of the show is what it feels like.
Gotcha.
So that's why, everyone gets excited about World of Color stuff.
Yeah, I guess I just look at it as like Rivers of Light and like, and Harmonious, and even really to some extent, Illuminations were similar kinds of shows. They were really water, based. They were projections. They were, music, and like that's really what they were. They weren't really fireworks based necessarily, right? Mm-hmm. And so like, and a lot of people just didn't like those, and that's why to me it's interesting. I'm like, what's the secret sauce? And I guess you kind of really went into it there, but it is interesting too, because it looks like there, a lot of the newer movies and properties are showing up. It looks like there's some Baby Yoda going on here. Mm-hmm. Obviously a lot of Encanto and Coco, and I even see it looks like a scene from Endgame, from when the whole all of the portals open. Yeah.
Oh, so, yeah. The final scene. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like they're doing a lot of really, like a lot of the newer properties are in here. But I mean, it's also supposed to be the whole 100 years of Disney. So I'm sure they're going to include a lot of older stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, it looks good. I like most nighttime shows. I like Harmonious. I know people don't like it. I like it. I think it's a good show. But
I like Harmonious as well. But like I said, I understand why it's not like, yeah, you have to. We need to get you out to California at some point, and then you'll have a frame of reference for why these things are so different.
No, I mean, yeah. I totally understand what you're saying. It's interesting. It's just interesting to me, like, because I thought maybe the reason why people don't like these shows is because there's not enough explosions, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like I need more fireworks, and it's like, okay, but there's also something amazing about these projections and the way they do the fountains and the way they do, like, and the way the music matches up with it. Like, it's just, I don't know. There's something to it, right?
If they could have afforded to install the same type of system that they have for World of Color in the Lagoon and Epcot, it would be amazing.
So, okay, I mean, and they probably can't do it too because they have the boats that are going across and stuff like that. Like, so yeah, I guess they can lower it down, but still.
They don't do that for World of Color. Like the system is static; it just sits where it is, right?
Yeah, you just see it, and
yeah, you can see it. The thing is that it's like. It's also it would be incredibly expensive to do something like that. Like it's it's a very complex system, and because it's more like there's a lot more water features going on. It's not just like the projections. There's like accompanying things going on with the with different pumps and stuff like that. Like it's but
I feel like Harmonious has a lot of that too, right? Where they make shapes it's all with the water and spin, like all this.
Yeah, but it's all contained to that central island, which feels it's too far away.
No, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I also want to note too that, and this is kind of buried in this. They're going to be doing a virtual queue for this. So they're going to have a virtual queue that opens up at noon every day. And is
it still over at the Grizzly River run that you got to get it?
No, it's on the app.
Or no, it's just online, right?
Yeah, it's on the app.
Yeah, because previously you had to go like you could get like fast passes for World of Color. So like because they do have different viewing areas for it.
Yeah, and so if you have a virtual queue selection, there's designated viewing areas. And then apparently also if the queue reaches capacity, you can also there's some walk-up viewing, which obviously is not going to be as good as the virtual queue options. But I just think it's interesting. And I understand because, to what you're talking about here, right? It's a much smaller area that they're occupying here, where they need to do a virtual queue to make sure that they are fitting the appropriate amount of people in the space, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, weren't they doing the virtual queue they were doing it for Fantasmic too, weren't they? I seem to remember when they brought Fantasmic back, they were doing the same thing, but I could be forgetting.
Yeah. I don't remember,
but yeah, I just thought it was interesting. They were doing that for a nighttime show, Yeah.
To me, it's not that surprising because World of Color's always been like, there was fast passes for World of Color. So the fact that it has a virtual queue, it's like, okay, yeah, that just makes sense. Right.
Well, I would love for there to be a virtual queue for like Fantasmic at Disney World. I mean,
for viewing areas, right?
Yeah, for certain to get better viewing areas, right? Because like it used to be a fast pass, right? You could get a fast pass for Fantasmic, right? But it really didn't do anything for you other than guaranteeing you a spot, so you didn't have to wait in that long standby line. Which you could still get in with the standby line, and it seems like this you could still get in with the standby line. You're just really guaranteeing yourself a better spot. So
yeah.
I'm all in favor of virtual queues. Like, do more of them. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not the 7 a.m. thing.
This is noon. This is noon. Yeah. So, this says it starts at noon daily, and if there's multiple show times, they'll have multiple distribution times. So there you go.
All right,
and then the last one is here. Do you want to do this one?
Yeah. The new. So Disneyland is going to have a new nighttime spectacular celebrating the 100 years of Walt Disney Animation Studios called Wondrous Journeys. And this will
starting to get a little bit jealous of Disneyland, by the way, with all this new nighttime stuff, because like they need to do some new nighttime stuff at Disney World. Like they, I know they're going to bring back Happily Ever After and but they're getting a nighttime parade back. They're getting, it's annoying me. I like Disneyland's getting all the good stuff, I feel like.
Well, and so, okay, what is the one called in Disney World? Enchanted or?
Yeah. Enchantment. Yeah. But
Enchantment. Yeah.
But they already said that.
I think
so.
Yeah, I think the problem is it kind of missed the mark, so it feels like we don't have anything in Disney World that is great at the moment. Like, yeah, I think it's because the last couple have not really hit the same way Happily Ever After did, and that's why I get why it feels this way.
And yet, when they retired Wishes for Happily Ever After, remember how mad people were, and then now they're clamoring to have Happily Ever After back
because Happily Ever After is better.
I agree with you, but a lot of people liked Wishes better. So
yeah, well, there's always that initial, nostalgia and not wanting to let go. But then, if the show is good, it gets a following the same as the previous show. If the show's not good, people go, when are you bringing back this other show?
When you bring back the other one, yeah. So anyway,
for Wondrous Journeys, they're it's going to have nods to a lot of the more recent stuff. The things they mention is Encanto, Hercules, Princess and the Frog, Peter Pan, Frozen, Treasure Planet, Big Hero 6, Moana, and more. So I guess
shout out to Treasure Planet. That's shocking.
Yeah, Treasure Planet's an interesting one. I do like the picture here. They show Encanto, which
Casita,
the castle being redone as Casita, which is. I mean, that's really cool. Like
it looks very cool. Yeah,
I want to see that.
yeah. Those projections are. I've said this before. And this is why I don't like watching the fireworks from Top of the World at Disney World, because you miss out on a lot of that stuff, right? Like I think the projections that they do on the castle in both parks are so amazing that you're really missing out if you're not in the park seeing that. That's
Agreed.
Just my opinion, but that's So, but yeah, so they have a new song that's coming out, right, as part of this, and we talked about a rumor a couple weeks ago about Baymax flying off the castle, and that's now been confirmed through this article that Baymax will be flying in this show. So that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. So no Tink or maybe both. I'm assuming there'll just be one.
Maybe both. Who knows, right?
Both would be interesting. But
that would be kind of cool if they did both. Yeah. They really didn't say. They just said Baymax soars high above Sleeping Beauty Castle. So
wouldn't say high above.
It's not that tall. Oh man.
Actually, to be fair, Tink comes from the Matterhorn across in Disneyland. So the Matterhorn is actually taller than the castle.
So they could do both theoretically.
Yeah.
Although
so I guess he is flying above the castle in Disneyland.
Yeah, I mean he's saying this says he flies above Sleeping Beauty Castle. So obviously he's flying over the castle, right?
Yeah, there's a line that goes from Matterhorn across like over the castle. So that's probably what they're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, theoretically, they could do both. Like, there's no reason why they couldn't, right? I mean, I'm sure they could make that happen. By the way, I love watching these like behind the scenes videos where they show how they animate like onto the castle. Like, I just find that those very, very interesting and cool. So, yeah, no. So this should be a cool show. I mean, I'm sure at some point my daughter will want to watch a video of parades or fireworks, and I'll be able to show her a video of one of these, and even though we're not going to Disneyland anytime soon. I don't even know if we're going to Disney World this year. I was just talking to my wife about this. Like, we have no plans set up for this coming year here. Like, we've got like weddings and stuff to go to, like 2 different ones that we got to go to, and we have not planned a vacation at all. So I have no idea what's going on this year.
So okay, let me ask you this. I mean, because we both had trips late in the year last year. Is it because you had a trip late in the year, or is it because you're kind of waiting to see how things fold out with the new management?
Oh, no, I don't care about the new management piece. Like, that has nothing to do with it. It's more of just we we just haven't planned anything. It's more of we just like have so much going on this year. We really haven't even thought about vacation. So it's, we just have to kind of figure out what our vacation is going to look like. Yeah, no, I don't care about the new management piece. I'm not worried about that. But you're right. I think maybe part of it has to do with we had such a late trip this year, and I just don't know when we're going to go. And, like my daughter starts kindergarten this year, and like, there's a lot going on between the kindergarten and a couple trips that we need to take already, because both of the weddings we need to go to are in New Jersey. So those are like mini vacations for us, because we have to travel pretty far to get to those. Not like, not as far as you going to Disney World, but it's far for us with a 4-year-old. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I get that. Like, when it was the same thing for us as like when when our son started school, you want to try and plan your vacations around, if there's like, professional development days at school, where you try, or for us, we've always tried to make sure that we don't like impact our kids' school too much by taking trips. So, I get, I get that for you, that, you kind of want to figure that out first before you commit to any trips. I guess for me, it's, like you said, because we went so late this year.
Yeah.
I'm not itching to go back immediately. And part of it is like, so I'll admit, we had a good time on our last trip, but, I definitely see where there's room for improvement. And I guess my thinking was, or the reason I asked the question is, I'm kind of waiting myself to see how, I'm not expecting drastic changes, or, that, Disney's going to do a 180 on certain policies or anything like that. But I'm just kind of waiting to see how things, or how it's perceived over the next little while. Because that, that's a lot of it. It's not always the matter of, you hear those people on the internet that, Disney's awful now because of reason X or whatever, it's not that, but, I feel like there was definitely a general vibe that, Disney was not firing on all cylinders. And I think that's actually making me a little bit more patient about, when I plan my next trip. Like I'm not rushing to go back, because it's like, I don't know. Like I don't want to ruin my expectations, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess I understand what you're saying. Like we didn't feel that on our last trip, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Mine is more of just generally we don't have a plan for this year. Like it's like we'll definitely probably have a trip this year. It's just we just really don't know when. So yeah, we just got to figure it out. So anyway,
so all right. you need to or maybe for like your daughter's like 10th birthday or something, you need to plan to go to Disneyland.
Yeah, no, definitely when she gets older, we're gonna do more stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because and then when we have these conversations, it'll make more sense to you.
I think
sometimes I feel like I know you guys don't have any frame of reference for what's actually there, right? So it's I feel like I'm living in another universe sometimes, because I've been to Disneyland and you haven't.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was a shorter podcast than I thought I was going to be, considering we're just coming back. But, not a ton of news in the very beginning of the year. But I'm sure this is going to be a year of a lot of announcements, because as we've talked about, after these projects that are done, we don't know what's coming next, right? So, and I'm assuming that they're going to start talking about those things this year. So should be a really interesting year for us. But, we're happy to be back again. Go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think, or they're probably not going to announce a new land? It'll probably be a redo of a land.
Maybe.
I can't see them doing another expansion, but I can see them, or actually it'll probably be like the Dino Land stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely probably like priority number one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's priority number one. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that we would like to see, right? We want another country at Epcot. We want a new Figment ride. We want the Dinoland to be redone. I think Hollywood Studios is probably in a good place right now, but you want more stuff.
No, it's not.
Always. You don't think so?
No, it's not. It absolutely is not in a good place. It's too front loaded on big rides.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like from their perspective, like I don't know what the actual attendance numbers are, but I would assume it was definitely the second most attended park for the past year or two. Because I know it was the busiest park when we were there, right? Like both the times we went, it was so busy.
Yeah, but the problem is that as soon as those like 2 or 3 big rides go down, the entire park comes to a grinding halt because there's nothing else to eat people up.
So what you're saying is they need
people don't want to go watch Beauty and the Beast. They want rides.
They need some. You're saying they need some more mid-level rides.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, they need some people eaters there. Like they really did not plan out Hollywood Studios very well.
Well, it was initially intended to be a half-day park, right? That was the thought, right?
Yeah,
and then it
still is.
You think it still is at this point?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really?
I can't think. This last trip we didn't get to go because we ended up someone was sick in our party, so we skipped Hollywood Studios. But every time we've gone, we're usually done there by like midday, and we may come back in the evening for a Fantasmic, but it's not a full day park the same way like Epcot or Magic Kingdom is. I
feel like it is at this point with all the Star Wars stuff, and then with Mickey and Minnie's and Toy Story, and then still with like Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster, all that stuff. Like, I don't know. It feels like it's much more than it used to be, Obviously there's more there than it used to be, but
yeah, I still don't think it's a full day park though.
Yeah. Agree, disagree. I think it's hard to get on all those rides. I think that's part of the problem, right? Yeah.
That's the problem, is that you spend more time waiting in line than you do actually like having experiences, where I could go to one of the other parks and do a lot more in the same amount of time. Because
to your point, they need more rides that are taking away from those other big rides. Yeah.
Yes.
Or they need more big rides, and then they can just spread it out more.
I don't know about that.
And then they talked too about like expansions for Magic Kingdom. There's a lot of things that we could hear about this year that could be pretty big over the next couple of years. So
I'm predicting the next thing will be the Dinoland redo.
Yeah, that feels like it's probably top priority, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's basically just a big empty lot at this point. So
yeah, it's pretty sad.
It is a little sad. Yeah, I agree.
We walked through there. My son was a little disappointed when because he didn't realize Primeval Whirl was gone until we got there. Yeah, and then he was like, "It's like, oh, that sucks." And I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah, it's just a big empty space sitting there.
Yep. And then we kept walking over to Everest. So.
Well, you kept walking on by, right? So,
yeah.
I guess my perspective is different because, like, for my daughter, it's all new, right? So it's almost like I'm starting over at the parks again in a weird way.
Yeah,
it's everything is new to her and everything is exciting to her. So it's almost like seeing it through her eyes. For me, it's like redoing everything over again for the first time.
Oh, totally. I get that. We did that too. Yeah. You kind of reset your expectations and reset your thinking about certain rides. We would always skip Winnie the Pooh, until my son came along because, we were like, I don't want to go wait in line for Winnie the Pooh. But, since my son's come along, we hit it up every time because, especially when he was younger, that was, something for him to experience. It wasn't so much about us. It was about him. Yeah. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And my daughter also keeps asking me like when we're going back again too, like she's asking me all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know, at some point.
Yeah. My son, he's actually made the statement of, we talked about, well, when you're older and, moved out and, you have your own family, you can figure out your own trips. She's like, well, I'm still coming to Disney with you. And I'm like, Got it.
Got it. Free vacations. Yeah, I see.
I see what I've done here. But yeah, you're going to pay for yourself at some point. But his thing is like, well, you guys have the good vacations in Disney World. Why would I go somewhere else? And I'm like, that's fair.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. I'm just surprised you're not going back this year. That's I figured you'd have another trip coming up. So
yeah, I guess we didn't really talk about this on the show yet. We're thinking our next trip's not going to be till next February because we just kind of like we had a trip really late in the year, and it's hard to for us especially, it's hard to get the funds together and everything to plan another trip. Realistically, it would have to be within 6 months of the previous trip, which is really tight. And the other challenge too is that our son is going into high school this year, so we decided to wait until next year because it gives us a chance to kind of get him settled into his new world. Transitioning schools and all that, and so to us, it didn't make sense to plan a trip this year. And like I said, we kind of agreed after our last trip. It wasn't the worst trip, but it definitely wasn't the best trip we've ever had. And then we were like, let's wait a little bit. Let's not rush back there. And, points wise and everything, like we have time, like, I banked my points and everything. So that's also the nice thing about DVC is, the flexibility of saying, I don't have to run off there every single year. Right. So, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, so
that's true.
That's where we're at with it.
Yeah, no, I get that. I also feel like, we had this huge family trip where we had all of our family with us, and it was such a big kind of, planned trip, and it was long. We were there for 11 days or whatever. And but our trip, we didn't have the hangups that yours did, right? Like you had a rough trip, between a hurricane and although we had a hurricane for ours too, it didn't really impact our trip, other than, having a single dining reservation canceled. Right. But yours was a little more impacted, and, you had illnesses, and that was something we didn't have either. So, our trip worked out really well, but I could, you had a rough trip. So I totally get it. But, I don't know. I just don't know what we're doing this year. It's more of just, haven't thought about planning yet. So really that's it. So anyway, all right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. As usual, if you guys want to
read the words on the page, Trevor.
Yeah. Well, there's bullet notes, but just kind of getting it straight in my head.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
I know. As usual, if you guys want to reach us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love getting emails from you guys, whether it's just, sharing your own experiences, asking questions, stuff like that. Feel free to reach out to us. If you want to find us on social media, you can hit us up on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast, and check out our Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. There's also our YouTube channel and Instagram. YouTube is Welcome Home Podcast. Instagram is Welcome Home Pics. Good places to follow for when we do have trips going back to the parks, and whenever we do live shows and stuff like that, you can always follow those on there. So good to be subscribed to those channels. And if you want to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out some of the different merchandise that we have. And that just or anything you get from there just goes towards us helping produce the show and for doing things in the future, like more t-shirts and stuff. And if you like Patreon instead, you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out the different support levels we have there, which they offer exclusive merchandise that you can't get on the store. And there is also access to the Discord server through Patreon, which is another way that we like talking with our listeners. It's a little more intimate. And, again, we have great conversations on there the same way we do in the Facebook group. But yeah, so, if you want to support the show, consider, giving us a couple of bucks on Patreon or whatever. Last but not least, make sure you go to iTunes or Spotify if you're listening on either of those, and leave us a 5-star rating. And if on iTunes, we do appreciate reviews. We appreciate hearing feedback from you guys, or just, whatever people have to say about us.
I don't have any recent reviews.
I didn't think we would, because Christmas is a really quiet time of year. And I know we have listeners that, would love for us to do this, all the time. But yeah. there are certain times a year where people are just busy doing other things. And like, we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, there's not, everyone was kind of just doing their own thing. So
you can't. I mean, like, we could make 20 podcasts over the last 3 weeks of the year, and like we would have less listeners than we have in one episode. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just no. A lot of people are not listening to podcasts the last 2 weeks of the year. So anyway, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app available. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult the DVC cast member or just regular cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.